Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Sweet 915. I know you see me, it's me, Fedora. We are missing my other part, and that is Curtis Smith. Unfortunately, he is under the weather. So we are going to keep it short today, and we're going to hold our hashtag after February Black History wrap up next week, next Sunday. So I know we were going to be collaborating with, well, we will on March 7th, collaborate with Black El Paso Voice, Black El Paso Black Pages, Black on the Border. So just make sure you tune in for our Black History Observance on March 7th. As you know, let me see. We have some information to give you guys, a lot of upcoming events, a lot of things that have been going on. But first, I have a special guest. Let's bring her in. Mocha. There she is. You're on mute. You're on mute. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Of course I am, because I said if you can't hear me, that could be my excuse for technical difficulties and I can leave.
No, ma'am.
You know I don't like to be on here. Thanks a lot, Curtis.
I know. It couldn't be avoided, though. Poor
Yeah.
thing.
But I'm glad to be here. So
Yes, yes. So I also wanted to let everybody know our after February hashtag after February Black History Month observance will be on March 7th. And then I want to let everybody know, if you're still interested in participating, contact us, please, please. Or you can contact Black El Paso Voice for more information. We will feature local Black owned businesses on that day, artists, and more. So you still have time. If you were like, oh man, I didn't get my paper in, please get it in so we can showcase you and put your name out there so you can get some business. Please, please. So, oh, you probably asking, so how do I do that? So you can contact us, Curtis, at host Curtis Smith, or at It's Me Fedora. You can also contact at Black El Paso Voice. And as you see on the screen, those of our Facebook watchers and YouTube watchers, you'll see it, the real sweet 915 at gmail.com. So let's see. Mocha, I think we're going to talk about some COVID numbers. It seems that it's decreasing since our new president has been in. He said the first 100 days, he is hooking us up, making everything better, getting more vaccines. Johnson and Johnson is coming in. So, what do you think?
is that what he's doing?
Yeah, they're getting the Johnson and Johnson vaccine to, start coming in March. I don't know when in March, but and that's the one that's one shot.
I think the
So,
numbers might be decreasing, but people still just aren't taking the pandemic seriously, I don't think. Just like right now, I'm working from home right now, and my neighbors behind me are having a probably 60 people plus party going on, and no one is
really,
wearing a mask. They have kids, adults, and everything. So as long as that's happening,
super spreader.
it's just it's just not going anywhere, I don't think. And I turned 50 this year, so they're messing up my plans for my 50th birthday party. So I need
Just make
everybody to get it together.
I know, right? It's like, come on, people. Yeah. My girlfriend was telling me that she was in Florida and they were in line somewhere and nobody was social distancing, nobody had mask on. And she was like, do they know something I don't? Like, what is going on? So yeah, everywhere you have people that are I guess, defiant or don't care or are clueless, or they have the mentality that, oh, it won't affect me or it hasn't affected me yet, so it won't. I don't know what their mentality is. I think it's just reckless. I think it's irresponsible. And we know we do have irresponsible people out there, more than we'd like to name. But yeah, I mean, it just chalks down to that stupidity, I think, when you don't want to protect yourself, or if you don't care about yourself, at least, well, if you don't care about yourself, how you gonna care about anybody else? So that's, point blank. So that's the point right there. So yeah, but I'm glad the vaccines are more readily available. I know we just got at my district, we just got where we can go and take the vaccine. I don't know which one it is though. I think I would prefer to take the Johnson & Johnson one, the one shot, so I'm not having to go back and be in that pain twice. Have your arm feeling like it's gonna fall off two
So you
times.
decided to go ahead and do it.
Did I say that?
Exactly.
I just said I want one shot instead of two.
Right.
I would prefer to do it one time and that's it. To feel that pain once. So yeah. Speaking of COVID-19 and vaccines, there are some upcoming discussions about the pandemic, specifically relating to the vaccine and the myths associated with it. So I know in ElPasoMatters.com, the community's local nonprofit newspaper, keeps everyone informed about the latest COVID-related news. They've published an article written by Molly Smith about the state data that indicates that Black El Pasoans men are underrepresented in COVID-19 vaccinations. So many within the Black community across the nation are somewhat skeptical when it comes to taking the vaccine. So, and I know Curtis picks at me and I pick at him,
Right.
but I know he's supposed to be going to get the vaccine. Well, now that it's available to him, so we'll see.
It's understandable though. I mean,
it is. Yeah, totally. With the, the experiments that's been done. We all know about the Tuskegee experiment. But if anybody wants to, you can check out elpasomatters.com. The link to the article is posted also on our Facebook page if you want to look at it. Also, Monday, March 1st, Curtis will be on with Black on the Border. The special guest is Dr. Alozi, former chief medical officer at Del Sol Medical Center and now CEO of Southwest Viral Med, a nonprofit organization in El Paso responsible for the care of clients living with HIV. He will discuss dispelling the myths associated with taking the vaccine. So tune in at noon for that. Also, Mount Zion Baptist Church will host a forum discussing the same topic with Dr. Alazo and others on March the 13th. And that will begin at 11 a.m. and it is on Zoom. So you have two events, one tomorrow at noon and then another March 13th, 11 a.m. on Zoom. So at least we're getting it out there to our community. So I hope everybody.
And if people have questions, I know they can ask questions, about it. I know with Curtis speaking with Dr. Alozi for Black on the Border, I know he had a lot of questions, and I think they're going to definitely dispel those myths. So yeah, definitely tune in tomorrow at noon for that. But I think people are still going to be kind of skeptical, and that's what some people don't understand about the Black community and why we're kind of skeptical. And it goes beyond just getting vaccines. It's because of sometimes how we're treated, in the medical field, and that's for another topic, another day. But yeah, I mean, I've even experienced that too, because they'll say sometimes, I won't say all of them, but sometimes doctors will use the excuse, well, Black people are, we give them this type of treatment because they're Black or whatever, or they won't listen to you about your pain and all that. So I can understand people being skeptical, because it took me forever to end up getting a surgery that I know I needed because of how I had been treated, previously, because they just
Because a
didn't.
lot of times they don't listen.
Right.
Yeah. And you have to, I think sometimes you have to shop around. Like I know when I had my son and his pediatrician, I had to literally shop around when he got sick and we were out of town, and then they gave him a shot, kept him in the hospital for a few days, returned back home. The same thing started to happen again, and I called his doctor, and he told me to give him some Sprite, put him in a tub of water. I was like, you know what? I said, click. I was like, I'm taking my child to the hospital. I took him to the children's hospital. They gave him a shot. They sent us home. And from that point on, he was better. And I got rid of that doctor. I was like, child, please. This man is crazy. Like, is that your medical expertise? And my son is ill? No, thank you. I had to turn it to a mama bear.
Yeah. See, that's
and have some sense. So you have to have sense, your own sense, because you know how your body, you know your child, you know your situation. So you kind of have to shop around sometimes and just find the one that fits you.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's why I said, for those who have questions about why they say they just don't understand why Black people are so hesitant about it. And I think if people feel they should get it, they should go ahead and get it, because some people who were skeptical are actually going to get it now. So yeah. I guess that's a good thing. But again, that whole medical issue and the Black community, that's a whole other topic. So but I can understand. Like I said, if I hadn't pressed the issue, my daughter wouldn't be here today, because they were just like, well, it's all in your head. We're going to still take you up for a DNC because you're losing this baby. And if I hadn't have fought to get another lab test done, I would have, my daughter wouldn't even be here. Baby. So I can understand that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to speak up for yourself. Mm-hmm. So, what else you got?
What do you mean? What else I got?
What else you want to talk about?
I know. See, Curtis just put me on the spot. I was not, prepared, but I know I have to stay prepared just in case, because I'm usually behind the scene. But I can share, a little bit about, some things I did yesterday. And I was a part of, even though I wasn't supposed to be doing anything this whole weekend, I was a part of a panel for a candidates forum for EPISD. Candidates who are running for the school board. And so we had the opportunity to ask them some questions. Of course, I didn't get a chance to ask all my questions, but some of the ones that I was, interested in the questions I was interested in asking had to do with the Black community. So one of my questions was, is it, some Black students have reservations when it comes to believing that they're treated fairly when it comes to disciplinary actions at the school. So some of them feel if a Black student gets in trouble, they're treated differently. They're ready to expel them as opposed to others. And I've seen it, and I asked that question of the candidates to see how they would address that. Some said that, some didn't really answer the question, but I'm hoping it would be addressed. And one who's my concern really was, of course, the Northeast, but one who is running for Northeast rep answered the question and said he would really like to speak with me more about it and the Black Roundtable. However, he's the same person that has blocked me on Facebook for speaking my mind when it comes to how he himself, who is a Black man, can speak so ill of, others. So I don't know about that. So I'm not sure if I believe some of them have the children's best interest at heart. So I brought that up. If you're going to run for a school board, make sure that you understand that the kids need to have a voice. I'm like, everyone's making decisions, but no one is talking to or about the kids. So that's a red flag to me. But the floor was open, so some of them did contact me afterwards and others didn't. So I'm looking at those who did contact me afterwards to see that our issues are genuine. The comment section is what, kind of threw me, because they were immediately going after the question of, well, um, the LGBTQ community, Asian community, Caucasian, Hispanic, they're discriminated against too. And I'm like,
We're
but
not
I was
talking
talking
about
about,
all of it. Yeah, you
I'm like,
talking
I was
about your
bringing
people.
up, right, I was bringing up the issues that Black students that they have. So, all of a sudden we're always getting um, discredited because we're saying racism exists, and then everyone else wants to throw everything else into the pot. And I'm
Because you
not getting
can't
ready
speak for
to.
those other cultures. Yeah. It's like,
Exactly.
yes, if you
Exactly.
are, then you need to be speaking up and be that voice for, your community.
Right.
Like you're speaking up for your community. It's not, I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
they are, then, please open your mouth
Yeah.
and say something, just like you
Right.
doing. Ask your questions, but
Right.
don't negate your question that you're asking. It's like,
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's the problem. And I was explaining that to someone afterwards. And I said, if any of you have any, in the comment section, if you have questions you want to ask me on why that question was presented, contact me. But this is why we have the Black Roundtable too. Our children's voices are not being heard, so they stay quiet. And their whole point is, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to finish school, and I'm leaving El Paso. Even my daughter doesn't really feel like El Paso is friendly when it comes to younger Black people, the young adults. And people can say it all day long. I love El Paso. True enough, I do love El Paso. However, I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that there is racism here and people look at us differently. Not only that, when it comes to just young people in general, there's not a lot for them to do here. So this is why they want to leave, and their voices aren't being heard. So if you're going to be a school board member, I think you have to take into consideration that the youth matter. So if they don't plan on having any forums for the youth to speak, especially Black youth included and military youth, then I don't want to hear anything they have to say.
Yeah.
And this
But
is,
then
this.
it's not about the children. It's not about,
Right.
helping them. It's pretty much about status and
Right.
how they're looking and what meetings they can go to
Mhm.
and what tickets they can buy to this and that
Right.
and whose ear they can be in. So
Exactly.
basically, it's just for them. It's benefiting them and not who you are supposedly representing.
Right.
And that's the case in a lot of cases with all of these offices that are held. Is
Mhm.
they forget the main reason you're there is to represent a certain, your
Right.
district or to represent the people. So therefore you need to have forums where the people come in and give you input, or phone calls, to let
Right.
the people know, okay, I'm doing this and this and this. In that nature. So, since we're quarantined, it's all virtual. Do a Zoom, do a town hall Zoom, do
Mhm.
a phone, a call out, whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah, to let the people know, okay, this is what I'm doing. Have that transparency, and a lot
Right.
of it's not, and they can't be transparent because they're under the, they're not doing right. So,
Right.
or they don't
I
have the
agree.
right view in their hearts from the
Mhm.
beginning. From the beginning.
Right. I agree with what Julie says. But if the Black students stop playing sports, people will listen. And I wanted to say that so bad. I wanted to
Right.
say that so bad, but I said, you know what? This is not the place. I'm going to save this for our own platform on the Black Roundtable, because I don't care what anyone says, and
Yep.
including we do have some people, some of us too, who are like, no, don't use that, athletes or whatever as an excuse. And I'm like, I'm just saying, when it comes to that, even when it comes to our kids getting recognition for certain things, it's rarely for anything else other than sports or something else. So
Yep.
yeah, they'll probably listen to those, but when it comes down to it, our kids have a lot to say and they're still being dismissed and they don't feel represented. Our kids do not feel represented. Some do, like I said, some do. And I have spoken with some parents who believe that there's no issue here on the border, especially in the schools. And that bothers me. I was able to share with them yesterday what my daughter went through in grade school and how she was the only Black student in class. And I'm talking about this now because it's Black History Month, so I hope no one is offended, because since it's Black History Month, I'm going to talk about a little bit of my own personal Black history. Um, so she was, verbally assaulted and then physically assaulted, and these were by boys. So we did what we had to do as parents, but they were saying, the principal and all those other people were saying, well, your daughter should get a thick skin. And that was the that was their that was their answer. Well, she should get a thick skin because she's going to go through this. And my thing was, okay, yeah. I contacted different organizations, elected officials, everybody, the NAACP, everybody, and no one except for a few people tried to help. But the boys who were doing this, they didn't get in trouble. They were like, well, we don't want them to get in trouble. And I'm like, really? So fast forward, what, 10, 15, 10, 11 years later, those same boys were the ones wreaking havoc in the police chases and pulling guns on people here in El Paso. Those same ones who were treating her like that. So they assume, oh, the kids are going to be kids. I'm like, not what they were saying to my daughter. It was sexist remarks, racist remarks. And so since they won't do anything about it, it'll continue. So my question was, what are you going to do about the racism in the school? When it comes to not only bullying in the schools, but the racism towards our kids by educators too, and students. So I want to see if that's going to be discussed, because no one wants to bring it up. But I'm going to continue to bring it up and make it public, because everyone wants to be quiet about it. And our kids are being affected by it.
Yeah, so, long term.
Right. So
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. I just think more needs to be done when it comes to our youth and education here on the border. And I'm sick and tired of hearing, but it happens to everybody. I'm really sick and tired of hearing that, because our kids get the bad end of the deal, especially when somebody in the community who is Black may do something wrong and it makes the news. The reason why that may not be happening now in the schools is because COVID and most of the kids are at school. So our kids get a little break. Our kids get a little break, except for online, when they're being ridiculed in the comment section and all that stuff. They can say, just turn a blind eye to it. Well, you don't have to read the comments. My thing is, these people who are making the comments are educators too. We had a incident with my daughter, and my daughter attends UTEP, but her incident was with her former teacher who still teaches at a high school, who is racist as all get out and posted constantly on Twitter. These are the type of people who are right now currently teaching our kids, and they want us to be quiet about it. So that forum, it was good to have, but we need to continue the conversation, because some of these people are just in these positions, like you said, for status only, and not because of our kids, because they're not taking it seriously. And I think one of the comments, and I have to say this because the answer from one of the candidates was, well, they can do like I did and go to the military.
Say what?
I was like, what does
military have to
Black children experiencing racism in school have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the military? They can just go to the military. And I think he must have misunderstood. I don't know if he misunderstood the question or not, but he said, I'm thinking he misunderstood the question as if I was saying, how can we keep Black kids from going down the wrong path? That's not what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about prison to school to prison pipeline. I wasn't talking about that. And he said, basically, if they're being bullied or racism, I guess, just send them to the military. It's just that lets you know we're not being heard, because so it's a conversation, like I said, that needs to continue. Definitely. So yeah. And I know you're in education, so I know you have to definitely be careful about how you address things. But I know as an educator too, you're going to make sure that kids are being treated fairly, regardless of if they're Black or whatever. So it's just important that parents stand up and start the discussion too. And they did say, well, maybe the Black Roundtable should have a youth division. I'm like, we do. And trust me, they've been speaking. They've been speaking, and we're going to continue to speak. So, yeah, we just need to make sure that we're great advocates for our kids. So, yeah, so that's what I did yesterday. It's just, a lot going on.
That was a
Yeah,
heavy day.
right. But while we're on the subject of Black history, I do want to say too, like I said, we want to continue observing Black history through Sweet 915 and through all the different channels, that we have. So it's going to take us to continue that. The problem is that I see right now is that not a lot of us are, I don't want to say this without being being rude. I don't think I'm being rude, because I have heard the conversation that some of us just don't support one another. Like, I know that you and Curtis and all of us are trying to get so many more of us here on the border to support different initiatives that we have going on, especially with like the El Paso Black pages. It's been up for months. We've advertised it. I'm not sure if we don't have a lot of people on there just because we could have more people on there. It's a free publication online, and I'm thinking it's for obvious reasons from what I'm hearing, and a lot of it has to do with people who just don't want to support because of who's involved. And I think that does a discredit to businesses in general. It's a free publication online. Maybe some people aren't checking their emails for verification, but if you're out there listening and you have submitted your business to the El Paso Black pages, make sure you check your email for verification so that we can, or confirmation, so that we can make sure to include you on the Black pages. But we want to support Black-owned businesses, but people have to let us know that they're here and that they want to be involved also. I know others, they see it and then they'll say, well, I'm just going to go start my own. Again, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense to reinvent the wheel. I refuse to do anything that's going to cause me to have to do more work when somebody else is doing it. That's why we partner with different people. A lot of information, we get and share from El Paso Matters. .com. No, it's not Black owned, but the person who owns it supports our Black initiatives. So we need to start coming together to support one another if we want to grow in this community. And I know people are tired of, just like the COVID conversation, like you and Curtis got from people, they're tired of hearing y'all talk about COVID. Well, as long as COVID is around, we're going to be talking about COVID. As long as Black people are here on the border, guess what? We're going to be talking about living Black on the border. You know what I'm saying? So it upsets me that people won't support just because they don't like someone who's associated with it when it's beneficial for everybody. I just don't get that mentality. And I think with the Black Roundtable, that's another avenue where we're going to have to bring that up and say, okay, let's put it all on the table. If you have an issue, organizations, people in general, we shouldn't be fighting against each other and saying don't support them and don't support them. And it's happening during a pandemic. So
We need to be working together. That's the whole problem. Like, if we could come together and
Right.
work together, we would be so much farther ahead.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. It's like, yeah, when we get together, we're a force.
Right.
But I mean, you have people with like crazy mentalities that just think that, oh, okay, this person, or afraid that they're going to get found out that they don't know as much as they claim to know. It's
Mhm.
okay not to know as much as you trying to flog, what they call it, flogging or whatever. It's okay.
Right.
Get somebody else that's an expert. You shouldn't be the smartest person in the room. Get somebody else.
Exactly.
Hook up with somebody else that knows something. You know what I mean? So use your skills. That person use their expertise. You come together, and it's a wonderful, great thing that can continue to move forward instead of it starting and then stalling out. Starting, you put all this money into it, and then nobody comes, or you have another person over here starting it, and then there's a clash because it's only so many Black people here, so you got to, spread your money here and go here because you want to, patronize everybody, but then you're not getting the full benefit that you could if you come together and use your expertise and boom, everybody, has maybe their clientele or whatever, and then boom, you're rolling, you're doing it, and it's constant, it's consistent. But yeah.
Like Mr. McClellan saying, together we stand, divided we fall.
There it is.
I mean, there it is right there. I just don't get it. And some people will say, and I get the emails and I have the conversations with, different people on Zoom and, other avenues. And my thing is I'm tired of the excuses. And that's what makes people want to leave El Paso, who are trying to do something. And people don't get that. And I just don't know what else is going to take. I think I've done the best that I can so far when it comes to trying to bring the Black community together. And all I asked is, if people can participate, come and join us and come and be a part of the conversation or the committee to get some things going. And then the next thing they're like, yes, we want to be involved or whatever. And then the next thing I know, those same people are starting to do the same event. And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, I'm not in it. If you think I'm in it for the money, you're wrong. I'm not making any money off offering anything for free. So really, and most people never really see me anyway. It's not that I'm trying to be seen, because everybody knows I do not like to be on video. I'm only on here today, thanks to Curtis, because I know he's under the weather. I want you to get better, but I'm usually behind the scenes, so it's not about that. It's really because I want to see our people grow together here in El Paso. Everywhere you look, even during this pandemic, people are building and growing here. Yes, we've a lot of Black businesses are here too and have started here too. But when it comes to collectively, our group is the only one who is not coming together to say, hey, let's pool our resources together and get this thing going. That's not good for us. It's not good for us. But I'm going to present something else soon. And that's going to be for us to come together to see if we can build and collaborate on a Black cultural arts center here. I think it's needed because we still get left out of the situation. Everyone, a few people know, what happened with the Black Expo, and how we were done a little dirty. And again, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to continue to speak the truth. We were done dirty by people that shouldn't have done us dirty. But if we come together and build our own, we won't have to worry about those people doing us like that because they don't want to see us grow. Yep. But again, it's just going to take, the organizations and different people coming together to say, let's do this and stop being against one another or mad because this person is excelling, or they look like they're trying to get above you or something. And it's not about that. There are doctors, lawyers, teachers here who want to do some things, but they're standing back because they keep getting that same thing we get, those daggers, and people are like, who do they think they are? And these are people who are influential, who want to be involved, but they can't because our own people are the ones who are pulling us down. So again, I think we need to come together or either just stay silent and watch everybody else grow while we continue to, be that. Eventually, we're going to go from that 4-something% to the 1% because everybody's going to start leaving because there's no growth when it comes to Black people. And I know people will say, well, I don't see that. I see we're in the community. Don't you see this person on TV and that person on TV and this person starting a business and that person starting a business? Okay. And when it comes to us collectively as, Black people, what's going on? What are we doing? What do you see? We see so much division amongst us. So we just have to do something about it. I'm just tired of it. And I'm really tired of talking about it. But as long as it's here, I'm going to talk about it. So for when it comes to Black history, we need to work on leaving a legacy that's positive here in El Paso. And our kids need to be able to look and see that we're an example. So yeah, well, that's all I got. I know you see. This is why I shouldn't be in front on a show.
No,
But I
you are
guess I needed
good.
to speak my piece because I do. It's just sad. I just want to see us come together. Yep.
Don't, then hey, like I always tell my kids, all right, be left at the starting gate if you want to, and people come around and lap you several
Right.
times, and we're gonna say, hey, you ready? Each time
Right.
we come back and come around, and you still standing around there looking around and sitting down and not doing, hey, you're gonna get left again. So you
Right.
better come on, grab my hand, and let me pull you along, and we can work it out. Other than that, you will be left because the world still goes forward.
Oh, see, somebody's going back home.
Yep. You
That's
can't
sad
blame them.
because
I
it's
mean,
sad
but you
because
can't
we want
blame
to
them
come
because people
together.
got to live.
Mhm.
You can't
Yeah,
blame
that's true.
them.
That's
I
true.
mean, the job market here is hard. You qualified, but then, you apply, and then somebody that's probably less qualified than you, or somebody that knows somebody, gets it, and where you still have to live. So it's like, hey, let me leave so I can, do what I need to do. And you can go down the road and get a job just fine.
Right. Right.
Why you
Well, like
can't
I
get
said,
one where you want to live?
and sometimes it has, I know a lot of people, especially in the military community, and one of the groups I'm a part of for military spouses, that was brought up this past week, about how it's just difficult to get a job that's going to be worth putting your kids in daycare for, or traveling, across town, because they can't find those certain jobs. And regardless of what people say, sometimes it does require you to be bilingual Spanish. And unfortunately, not a lot of us, not even a lot of military families who come here who are not Black, are not Spanish. So it does get, it does something, to the family too when it comes to that. So it's hard. And people let go of the conversation. We have the conversation once and say something's going to be done about it, and then we let it go. So I don't want to keep letting the conversation go until something is done about it.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I know you said you wanted me to kind of go over a little bit about our initiatives and what we're doing before you get into some other events that's going on. So, some other ways that Black people can be involved in what we're trying to do is just a little overview of what we have going on. We just need people. We have people who are bloggers, writers, podcast hosts. If you're out there and you're Black and you have something to say and something to share with the community, we need you. Um, I mean, when it comes down to it, we're all we got. When it comes down to it, we have a lot to say. We have a lot of information that we are holding in, instead of sharing, and we need to start sharing it. So these are just some of the initiatives that we have, and that includes Suite 915 that we're on now. um, Black El Paso Voice. We're revamping that because we want to include people who are going to be consistent when it comes to submitting information and articles. If they want to have their own column, they're welcome to come on board with us to have their own column before we do the print version of this newspaper, because this is a Black newspaper. But we need, in order to have a Black newspaper, we need Black people to help contribute. So if you're interested, again, in Black El Paso Voice, Mocha Magazine, we're relaunching again. Again, it's about consistency. We need people who want to be consistent when it comes to what we're trying to do here on the border and let our voices be known and heard. Mocha Magazine is going to be a quarterly magazine specifically highlighting us, regardless of what field we're in and what we're doing. We're looking for people who want to write, or share their blogs with us that we can share, to feature those we can feature and highlight. We want to feature men and women, kids, teens too. We have the El Paso Black Pages, again, which is a free online directory that lists Black owned businesses. If you have a Black owned business, go to elpasoblackpages.com and submit your information free at no cost. We will be publishing a print directory which will have a cost to it, but it will be a minimal, affordable cost for the print directory. But online right now, it's free. And we have people that are trying to find Black-owned businesses to support. And it's kind of difficult if you're not submitting your information to us. The Black Roundtable, what we do at the Black Roundtable is it's a series of discussions that we have. We look for people in the community who are subject matter experts, those who have something that they want to share that could be beneficial to the community, regardless of what field you're in. If it's going to help our people, then we want you to be a part of that and come and share information with us. When it comes, we also have Black on the Border, which is the podcast that Curtis is the host of, and that's every Monday at noon. And he'll be featuring people who want to discuss issues that affect our community, that affect us as Black people, multicultural Black people, those who are identify as multicultural Black, whether it's employment, career, education, everything that affects us as Black people. He's looking for people to interview also. The El Paso Black Business Network is actually a part of El Paso Black Pages and Black El Paso Voice. That's just where we're looking for Black business owners who want to network together. The best, the best form of advertisement is word of mouth. If we're together in a network together here in El Paso, we'll be able to offer references or refer people to others that we know in those different fields. And through the Black Business Network, we'll be starting First Fridays, which will be virtually, of course, because we're in a pandemic. But the First Fridays is, again, to highlight those businesses here in the community, initiatives, things that we have going on, just something that supports and celebrates us as Black people. The Sun City Soul Fest is what we had to cancel last year because we were supposed to have that in person. But of course, because of the pandemic, we couldn't. And right now we're working on a committee to see how we're going to do this virtually. That and the El Paso Black Expo. The expo definitely will be virtually also. Taste of Black El Paso it's a separate directory because we want to feature all things food. We want to feature chefs, food bloggers, those in the restaurant business, so that people know where they can go to support Black-owned businesses who are in the food industry. The only way we can do this is to share information with one another. We have all this going on, and we're offering all this for people to come on board and support it. We're not asking for anything except for information. Share what you know. It does no one any good in the community to keep everything inside yourself. If anyone has a question about anything and I know it, I'm going to give you that information. And that's what these initiatives are for. So we're hoping people will eventually support. So we can't say that there's nothing here for the Black community when it comes to sharing information. We have it all right there. It's just a matter of some people sending an email, calling, something. If you're not going to do that, then we can't support you. We don't know you're there. So hopefully people will share this information and get it out there. Yeah. So it's difficult, but we can get it done if we just come together. So, I know you want to share some of the upcoming events and stuff. So,
yes,
I'm sorry. Let me not hold you up.
that's all right. Just like last week, we have the Omega Sci-Fi Scholarship Opportunity for college bound seniors in El Paso, Texas. The deadline is April 30th, 2021. So please get your applications in so that your student, or if students are watching, so that you can get that scholarship. Our next is our El Paso Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta's scholarship program for 2021, 2022. Also, go ahead and apply so that you can get that scholarship. The deadline is May 5th of 2021. We also have the El Paso chapter of the Links, and this chapter has their scholarship criteria. And that date is, I can't see that date. What is that date? Oh, April 19th. April 19th, 2021. And the scholarship will be awarded on May 16th. So please get your applications in before April 19th. The contact person is Diane Williams, or by email at eplinksscholarship@gmail.com. eplinksscholarship@gmail.com. Then we have another scholarship from the El Paso Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club, and their application deadline is also April 30th. So please get your applications done. And then we have an upcoming event on March the 13th at 6 p.m. It's the El Paso Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a peppermint affair with jazz on screen. So that's March 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. So for more information to get tickets, they're $30. Contact by email epacjazzcommittee@gmail.com. And we'll be featuring saxophonist Cliff Gordon and Gabriel Torres. We also have another fundraiser. It's called 3 Basket, and it's by the Links. You have a raffle drawing, and so the tickets are $5. This is available. The tickets are available actually today. They start going on sale today, February the 28th. For any additional information, contact Diane Williams. Email ladycsm49@yahoo.com. Also, Living Black on the Border is Mondays at noon with Curtis Smith. So watch that, and remember this Monday, it will be in reference to the COVID-19, speaking with doctors. Also, hashtag Black on the Border, episode number 4, guest Dr. Alozi with Curtis. So that is tomorrow at noon. And then you have free Promote Your Black-Owned Business for Black Business Directory, El Paso area Black-owned businesses. There's a free listing at El Paso Black Pages. So you can go to elpasoblackpages.com.
Okay.
There you have it. That's a wrap. Oh, and then any final words, like Curtis always asks me, any final words?
Yeah, I'm gonna need him not to be under the weather because
He's getting sick.
Because unfortunately, if people are under the weather, I have to come on, and I don't like to do that. So
it's all right.
I like to stay behind the scenes. But my final words would be, especially for this Black History Month, the ending of everyone's Black History Month, but we're going to continue hashtag after February, because we're Black every day and we celebrate our history every day. I just want us, those of us in the community who do identify as Black, to come together. If we come together, we'll be able to, build. There are so many things that we could do if we just come together. And it's like I want to share all that, but then I'm like, okay, if I share it, are other people going to take it away from us? But I'm going to share it anyway, because I think we can come together to do it, because so many of us have said what we need in the community. Some of it has to do with educating our youth and having a space specifically for Black youth to feel welcomed and recognized here in El Paso. I want to see that happen. And to me, If we have that Black Cultural Arts Center, we can do that. We can have something huge and amazing here. I know it's been done here in the past, including theater. We need that. We need a space. I know we're in a pandemic, not right now, so we can't, go to those spaces, but it's something we can start doing now. Because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to attend all those wonderful banquets. However, everyone who would have bought tickets to those banquets can still give towards building something. Can you imagine if everyone gave the same amount they would have given for those tickets to those banquets? We could combine that and begin to build something. So we can't use the pandemic as an excuse, because eventually this pandemic will be over. So when we come out of this pandemic, what will we as the Black community say that we built together?
Yeah.
My thing is, we better have something. We better have something, because if we don't, that's a sign right there that we're just not together. There are several things that we could do here. We can support. I know there are people out there who are awesome cooks, or chefs. Excuse me, chefs don't like to be called cooks. So there are awesome chefs out there in the community who can combine their resources and build an amazing restaurant and have that there, a great soul food restaurant, or something even, or a vegan restaurant for those who are on that level. So we can combine our resources together. And I think make it happen. Those who are in the arts and entertainment field, we can have our own spaces that won't continue to push us out, because I don't care what anyone says. We were pushed out when we tried to do the expo to build something great. So we need that space, for us. Not that we're saying we want to be separate, but we want to be included. That's what it's all about. We want to be able to celebrate our history and share with people our culture. And what better way to do that than through the arts and other situations? To me, I want to see. I'd love to skate. Haven't skated in a while.
Oh yes,
But
that come back.
I know they used to have different skating rinks here, but I think a lot of us can get together and say, well, why don't we pull our resources together and get that done? We can get that, built, something that's great for our kids to be, a part of. But at the same time, a location that could be a skating rink that could, just be all the walls when you're skating around is just full of our greats, Black history, just everywhere you go. We can do that if we just come together. So there are so many things that we could do here in the community that could provide jobs, that could continue to give to the economy or contribute to the economy. Because even though people tell us to leave El Paso, I've been told to leave, go back to Africa. And I was told that, I'm always told that here, because I comment, I don't, I voice my opinion on the social media pages of the media here. So I voice my opinion and say, all Black people aren't like that. Why are you saying this? And they'll say, well, why don't you go back to Africa? And I'm not from Africa. I was born right here.
Okay.
But if you want to send me that money to give me
to go,
I'll take the money.
Okay.
Right. So when it comes down to it, we have the resources here and everything is within us. But if we continue to be separate, we're not going to get any there. When I'm telling you, I'm going to say it one more time. When this pandemic is over, we should have something that we built together as Black people here in this community. Or we should be breaking ground somewhere on something. I know you saw Julie Scott. She said, yes, she's a realtor here in El Paso. If we need a location, guess who's the person that can help us find it? Julie Loving Scott. We have people here in a network who we can just gather together and we can build. So there is no excuse, and I know again that we can't make people do something. And I know some Black people here are sick and tired of Black people talking about Black people. I can't help that I'm Black. I'm going to talk about, being Black. So I just want to talk to those. I want to meet with those and collaborate with those. And, I just want to support those who want to support the fact that we're Black, And we need to build too. We need to have a presence here other than just working for somebody else. So if we build together, we have our own. And again, we're not trying to be divided. We're trying to be included. You know, when it comes to it, not saying that we're not included in things, but we're kind of pushed to the side, and we do that to ourselves, unfortunately. So I just want to see that difference. So again, see, this is why I shouldn't be on here. You said one last thought, and this is what I'm so much better behind the scenes.
No, you are fine. No, we
So,
feel you. We feel you. Yeah,
so
we
it
feel
was
you. You know,
great
you
being on
preach to the
here,
choir.
Curtis. We miss you, Curtis.
All right. Well, you know my final thoughts and my final words. I always keep love in your heart. Got to protect that heart. You got to keep love in it. And please keep yourself safe. Wear those masks. Double up if you need to. If you're going to get the vaccine, get it. If you need to get tested, get tested. Keep your bubble tight. And hey, stay safe.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. Well, mine is Curtis, but it's me, Fedora. Join us next week, live Sundays at 4 at Sweet 915 or sweet915.com. YouTube, Facebook, and what is it? Twitter, IG, all of the above. We're there.